Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So here we are again. Welcome to Chat with Dr. Connors. This is Dr. Connors. And with my co-host, Jim Spiliotis. Good evening, Jim.
Good evening, Doctor. How are you?
I am well, but I think it's getting hotter, not just the weather.
But it's so humid.
Yeah,
but anyway, yes.
The situation as well.
Fiery.
Yeah, So, I mean, look, without going around and around, what do you think of the removal of all these historical statues all over?
It fires me up. Excuse me. It fires me up, and here's why. Is that it's truly, and we had talked about last week the degree of political correctness, right?
That's correct.
Where you can't say something with the fear of that someone somewhere will be offended. At the very beginning, when the whole process of these rioters and these felons pulling down statues of Confederate generals and so on, I get it. They stood for slavery. They supported slavery, the oppression of a whole race. I get it. But now,
and you call them felons?
They're criminals.
Yeah.
They're if it's a state or federal property that they're pulling and destroying federal property by pulling it down and destroying it, defacing it, that's a felony. Just like any other crime against the government. So and now they're going after basically anything of history. They're pulling down statues of people who fought to abolish slavery. It baffles the mind that, first off, that state and local officials are allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
They're allowing it to happen. They know it's going to happen, so they literally do nothing about it.
Why are they not doing anything? What do you think?
You know what it is?
Yeah.
It's that they're spineless and scared. They're scared of, again, extreme political correctness, that they're going to, heaven forbid, hurt someone's feelings and say the wrong thing. And then the whole world comes collapsing down because they don't want to riot. They look at it that if a city official says, leave these statues alone because, it stands for our history, it's a symbol of what our past was, and, it truly does nothing to make you feel good at the moment. You've accomplished, if an official were to say that, all hell will break loose. And what will happen is that every single rioter will come to that town, and they'll destroy the businesses, they'll destroy the homes, and they'll loot, and they'll do all those things, and that's what they're afraid of.
Well, because you know what I'm seeing, though. Okay, so, what I see right now in the current situation is like looking at a young parent, like a parenting, right?
Yep.
So this is how I'm comparing it. And like I told you before, I don't think I was capable or even have the ability to be a parent because I just don't have the patience or the tolerance, of a parent, because I know that I would go to jail. So I will cite an example. I mean, it's because this is the way I see it. It's just like the government is being a friend to the demonstrators. They're trying to be a friend. They're trying to, we're not, because they're afraid to lose the votes. And hold that thought. And also, so I'm comparing it to somebody now. It's the way the modern day parenting, where parents are no longer. I'm not trying to generalize, but I see it. It's more happening than not. where parents are caving in to their children. Like, for example, you go to the supermarket, you go to the store, you see a child like just throwing tantrums. When I was growing up, if I did that, my mother would have carried me with my collar and basically left the store because she did not want to be embarrassed. She did not want me. But right now, it's I see a parent that said, "Oh, do you want this? Do you want that?" Caving in.
Right.
Caving into the child, and I look at her, and I look at these parents, and said, "You are the bloody parent. Your child is 5 or 6 years old, or even 7 years old. Your child is no longer an infant. He can understand what's going on, and then you're basically caving in. You are now being parent by your child. So it is the same that is happening in our country. And then all of a sudden, all right, our generation are basically pandering, oh my God, this is good. This, supporting the rioting, basically defacing of historical stages. And I tell you, I don't agree. It's I don't even look at statues. But when you destroy it like that, it's vandalism. If you want to remove it, file a petition. Go to City Hall or whoever, the authority, and file a petition. Do not destroy it. I mean, I see it as barbarians. It's so barbaric.
It's what a third world country does.
No, they don't do that in the third world country, and I'm telling you.
Right. Well, obviously a third world country wouldn't spend the money for a bronze statue or what have you. But the principle is, countries that are out of control, that have no control, allow this behavior to happen because they're scared. And it's unfortunate that, again, it's pandering. What we talked about Seattle last week and what was happening there. 4 people have now been shot and killed, and they're not allowing cops in or firemen or ambulance people in to take care of these people, and yet the city of Seattle just allows it to happen. And now I read a few minutes ago that the felons have expanded the area of control. They added another city block in their control. How can you let that happen? That's an occupying force taking over part of a city. And who's to say that there aren't, again, true terrorist organizations that are infiltrating these strongholds and reinforcing what they're doing? They're helping them become autonomous. Seriously, and again, I talked last week about what's the end game? Okay, if you're all these people, what's the end result? What are you hoping to accomplish by doing all of this? Because no one's on your side. Everyone outside of that wall is not with you. So what's the deal? Pulling down all these statues isn't going to erase the underlying issue that they claim that there is of this, the predetermined racism or whatever they call it. It's amazing. It just floors me in that the pandering still happens.
Yeah.
They allow all of these behaviors to go on. The challenge lies on the flip side. As I watch, protesters in Washington on Tuesday being pushed back by the police, is that these judges, when these people are being arrested, is that these judges are putting, no bail or released on personal recognizance, and they're not going to show up to court. They're not. They're not going to go to court in 2 months and sit there and answer to the charges that are there. Are you kidding me? Now they'll all have a bench warrant, and they'll all be felons. And so what happens? The circle happens again. They go through, and they now have a bench warrant, an electronic bench warrant, because they failed to appear at court. And they're out driving around, drinking with their buddies, and the police pull them over because they have a warrant.
So what about the rest of the population, though? What are we doing? What's happening with the rest of the population?
It's amazing.
We're just going to sit down and watch this happen, and basically allow our children to just go into mass destruction of properties. What do they want? What are they demanding?
Oh yeah, I even right. Yeah, they just sit back and don't do anything. They allow all this stuff to happen. How is that even a rational thought?
This is like
within someone's mind. I have friends that I've known for 35 years.
Yeah.
That I posted something on Facebook the other day. Something about the rioting and the looting, and I basically said, look, if you're okay with this, you're part of the problem. And we went into this big, long, lengthy discussion between me and him and about 4 or 5 other longtime friends. And he basically said flat out, he's like, Jim, part of the problem is that clearly you're a systemic racist. I'm like, that's not even an answer. Like, how is that even something that you could comprehend from anything? It floors me in that's the answer. If you don't agree with them meaning Black Lives Matter, Antifa, the whole group of felons, that you're a racist. That's their answer. Well, if you don't agree, then you're a racist. Well,
I don't agree with obviously with the defacing. I don't agree with the looting, the rioting. For some reason, it's a lot. I do recognize that there is a racial issue in the country.
Of course there is.
I do recognize that, and we should do better. However, the destruction of community properties and destruction of businesses, and basically, it's more like authority kidnapping. They are kidnapping the authority. So it's like, okay, so we're gonna take over. It's domestic terrorism.
Right.
Okay, and yet, I just don't understand. I don't even want to watch the show. News shows anymore. I don't watch the news because it's very upsetting for me that to see the defacing of properties, of public properties, and also it's like I know that there's an issue. I know that there's a problem. I feel it. I suffer it myself. I suffer it myself in my personal life. Like, I'm surrounded by basically, it's. I can say that I suffer the bigotry, but I'm not gonna go into destructing properties and joining the rioting. I would go though for peaceful demonstration,
right?
Or going into shows and talk about the agenda, talk about what needs to be done,
right?
But defacing, I have a problem with that. Like I had a problem when the Afghanistan, the Taliban destroyed a Buddha. Because So I had a problem with that because it's so the whole world crowd